Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I predict that the so-called far-right populist movement in Great Britain will surge in its supporters or in the polls, if we really care about the polls. That implies that we believe in democracy. And what's happened in Great Britain is that these tyrants, these guys in charge of us overall, make mistakes because in their mentality of a tyrant, they pick to silence people. But by doing that, they will gain more traction and support and popularity. What happened? Well, I do not know how many of you are familiar with Tommy Robinson. Well, this guy obviously is a bad dude. This is the way we are supposed to look at him, as we are supposed to look, let's say, at Andrew Tate as a bad dude, or Geert Wilders now in the Netherlands as a bad dude, Nigel Farage as a bad dude, not that bad, but still bad dude. People with certain kind of ideology, or at least a response to these tyrants, should be called names and bashed and silenced. So what happened? There was an pro, or how should I put it, an anti-Semitism march, and I think it was in London. And yes, in London. And this guy, Tommy Robinson, who obviously is a persona non grata in the civilized society, he showed up over there and he was arrested. Why? Because I don't think that Great Britain has freedom of speech whatsoever. And not only. I think that a person should be allowed to go wherever he would like to go as anyone else, without being his freedom of liberty of movement being infringed. But somehow these guys arrested this guy for possibly creating a scene. Possibly. So they decided to infringe this citizen or subject liberties in Great Britain because they predicted that to prevent something that they imagine is going to happen, we should arrest him and remove him after we ask him to leave. So Tommy Robinson had two options to say, I have no reason to leave and you have no authority to make me leave, or say, yes, I recognize your authority of infringing my freedoms, my rights, my liberties, which I think they're trampled in Great Britain more than here by far. So let me show you this little article here, and I will also show you someone else who is partly responsible for the war in Ukraine or for the continuation of the war in Ukraine. He also participated, but he was allowed and he was hailed as participating in this march. His name is Boris Johnson. Yeah, that guy. I will support my claim about Ukraine regarding this weasel later in this video. So let's start with this article coming from the Telegraph. Watch, Tommy Robinson arrested at anti-Semitism march. Now, regardless if you like this guy or you don't like this guy, he should not be asked to leave a public gathering in the streets of London, regardless of his opinions, regardless of his criminal history, regardless of how you frame the situation. He got arrested. Why? Because you could be framed in the same way. Or if I show up somewhere, I could be picked up or asked to leave because I might create a scene and some people don't feel comfortable. Other equal citizens to me, they're equal. Not better, not worse. In front of the law, I'm talking about. As a citizen. and I have to remove myself because some people will order me based on other people's fears. I'm not entitled to have fears, only they are entitled to have fears. And they use our taxpayer money used for these guys in this case, whatever that is, green vests, to arrest another fellow citizen or subject. I don't know exactly you guys in Great Britain you go by, but nevertheless. Tommy Robinson, founder of the English Defence League, was escorted away by police as thousands attended a march against anti-Semitism in London. Police later confirmed a 40-year-old man had been arrested close to the Royal Courts of Justice, from where the demonstration began on Sunday afternoon. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, right there, joined thousands of people for the demonstration a day after pro-Palestinian crowds also gathered in the capital to demand a ceasefire in Gaza conflict. Tens of thousands, mind you. So, Boris Johnson. Remember that guy, his name was Joseph Stalin or Joseph Vissarionovich Djugashvili. Now, the Soviet Georgian tyrant. Remember, he said this, he said many things, but he said, you know, you kill one person, you're called a criminal. You kill 1 million, it's a matter of statistics. Well, here you have Boris Johnson and you have Tommy Robinson. Why Boris Johnson? Boris Johnson is a fact now that after the Ukrainians and the Russians agreed to a certain ceasefire in Ukraine and a peace process after their last meeting in Istanbul, Turkey, in mid-March 2022, when a delegation came back to Kiev, the Russians pulled their troops from Kiev. Boris Johnson, then the Prime Minister of Great Britain, landed in Kiev and told, you got a cat here? No. Told the delegation and the Ukrainians, you have to keep fighting, there will be no negotiations. Therefore, these guys who were inclined to accept the Russians' offers, which is no NATO peace, they are fighting right now. So he played a big part in what we have over there. So kill 1 million, it's a matter of statistics, it seems like. But he came over here, obviously, to lick the boot of, you know, a truce between Hamas and Israel. Okay, we don't care about that one. And this one, there have been fears. So some people were afraid. So if I'm afraid, will you arrest my neighbor because I'm afraid? Because he called me an idiot? I'm just making up shit. I'm not aware that he did that, but anyway. There have been fears that Mr. Robinson, the former leader of the far-right grouping, could disrupt the protest organized by Charity Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. Well, are you going to put him in jail because there are going to be fears that he could act illegally or as a criminal? So in order to prevent a future imaginary crime, you want to appease some people's, decent people's fears, you would arrest me or arrest you. And then we put them, all these guys, in jail because of people's fears and different opinions without doing anything, just because of the fears. So because of the fears, you protect these guys, but don't protect that guy. I don't know how you guys live over there, but we're catching up. Mr. Robinson, 40, had previously been seen among the crowds of counter-protesters who clashed with police during ceasefire protest held on Armistice Day. He was seen among the crowds, but they don't see he was clashing. All right, and this is what they are trying to build. Oh, he is a violent guy. He was over there in that group. The group clashed. We don't know if he did, but doesn't matter. They already lumped him with a violent club. Remember, unless you do something illegal, your rights really cannot be, you have fears, you get arrested for fears. Well, we can all have fears then. On Sunday, he was seen arguing again. This is what these guys say, all right? I don't have to necessarily believe in that. On Sunday, he was seen arguing with officers for about 10 minutes outside a coffee shop opposite Royal Courts of Justice. So probably the guys wanted to get him out, and he opposed. Frequent contact. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police said, "We have been in frequent contact with the organizers of the march in recent days. They have been clear about their concerns that the man's attendance and that of those who were likely to accompany him would cause fear for other participants." I don't care if you're afraid of me. Do I do anything illegal? If I do, then you intervene. Well, put people around, put the police officers and so on, but don't infringe my rights because of people's fears or whatever. The same view has been voiced by others. I'm pretty sure there were some voices by others that did not share that view. Some people could, let's say, support Tommy Robinson being among that crowd. Is that taken into consideration? So I disagree with protecting some but not protecting others, giving the equal, concern, value on their concerns. But anyway, that's why the same view has been voiced by others. How many? A majority or a minority? Well, some others. You see, our rights, liberties, freedoms could not be infringed just because some people feel uncomfortable with us, because that means that could apply to you as well if I have the same concerns, unless your concerns are considered legitimate and my concerns are not considered legitimate. And obviously the concerns could be considered legitimate based on evidence. They already tried to provide the evidence. He argued with the police, probably when they told him to leave. He was seen in a crowd. Okay. Was he involved in that? Was he arrested? No. Then, well, what? Oh, I'm afraid he's going to act out. Well, I'm afraid whenever I see a police officer with a gun in his holster, I'm afraid he's going to shoot me. Do I have the right to tell the police officer to get the fuck out? No. But here you have the right? Well, let's move on. As a result, he was spoken to and warned on more than one occasion that his continued presence in the area was likely to cause harassment, alarm, and distress to others. I haven't heard yet about Tommy Robinson being banned from the society or being half of the subject or half of a citizen. He has the same rights. I don't care if you feel concerned. Let me tell you a story. The state of Michigan has an open carry policy. That means you can carry your handgun in a holster, wherever you have it, in plain view. But you need a license, a permit to have it concealed. Anyway, they want to know who's who, what's what. That's a different story. So you can carry it. It's legal. That's legal. If I walk around the neighborhood with my revolver here, I guarantee you that in 5 minutes I would have a unit or 2 or 3 of police officers surrounding me and asking me questions and verifying my gun and bothering me for exercising my Second Amendment right. Why? Because you have some idiots, they will be concerned with my presence in their neighborhood. So their rights there, I'm afraid seeing a guy that you don't know anything about, you don't know anything who this guy is, but you're afraid. You call the police. So the same here. Some, the area was likely to cause, likely. No, I don't think so. But, he's Tommy Robinson. That's the only reason. He was directed, that means ordered, to leave the area, but refused to do so. Why shouldn't he? Why should he? All right, now, let me see what else we got. All right, the next is garbage about something else. Nevertheless, so I think this is bad for the guys who try to ban Tommy Robinson. Why? Because he's going to surge in popularity again. Why? Because people who will hear about it would say, oh, yeah, he deserved that. He could have scenario. He could have, but maybe he could have not caused trouble. Again, scenarios, I can create a lot of scenarios when I see a person that I don't like or I'm afraid of and call the police on that person. Well, again, I have nothing with Tommy Robinson. Remember, Tommy Robinson also met this guy, Wilders, right? These are some videos I made since Wilders won the elections in the Netherlands. And in this, I think, right here in this video I made on November 22nd, I think, EU in panic mode, far right, quote unquote, Wilders wins elections in the Netherlands. They started here the character assassination of Wilders, they being the establishment, the guys in charge of us. And they mention here, again, Marine Le Pen, they mention a meeting between Tommy Robinson and Wilders, I think about 9 or 10 years ago. And I covered that in the video, but it was in the article, trying to link them together as being two Adolfs in the same room. So again, I think maybe Tommy Robinson showed up for that reason, and we don't know his intentions, his intent, but they assumed it, so they infringed his freedom of, freely walking in Great Britain. You can say, okay, I don't care if it's Tommy Robinson. Could be, I don't know, Tom Jones. I don't care. It's just the fact that some people could infringe your rights, your liberties, your blah, 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 your temporary privileges because of their fear and the scenario they create. And those guys in charge of the repressive apparatus, which is the police, are enforced their scared and their how do you call it, concerns, and this guy gets ordered to leave without doing anything. He didn't do anything. He did not do anything. He was not in this article. They didn't find anything to say the guy, I don't know, pushed someone, headbutt someone, grab someone by the balls. No, nothing. He was who he is, and he's seen in the crowd counter protesters. Did he do anything wrong? No. Oh, you assume he would. How about counter protesting? I haven't heard about being illegal or anything. To say, no, I disagree with your stupid march. Or yeah, I agree with your stupid march. How about that? No, you can't. Why? Because you assume through a scenario that could escalate. A lot of things could escalate. I'm about to drive my car right now. Where am I going? Well, if someone doesn't really like me, can imply that I'm going to do something bad. Will the police come and arrest me or order me to stay home? They could. Under this garbage, they could. Remember, this guy now, you could be next. I could be next. I don't like this. Because some people determine our lives like that. And supposedly we're equal. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.